audio in the last video. I went all the way through without realizing that my mic wasn't turned off, or at least until near the end. And then I realized that my mic had actually got a problem, but that looks like it's working now. Right, so we are continuing the tour of the galaxy. We have now moved from the errant marches into the outer arm. So the last video, although it had no audio, did move us from the errant marches into the outer arm. Right, so this is the map so far. So we started off in Sol, or in the bubble anyway. We went pretty much directly to the tip of this arm of the galaxy. I visited the fleet carrier there. I've been visiting the fleet carriers all the way along here. So I visited this fleet carrier last night. We are somewhere around here now, heading over to this fleet carrier, which I think is actually in Aquila's Halo, if that's how you pronounce it. And then we'll be following that around into the center of the galaxy and following a spiral arm route to the far point, somewhere near Beagle Point, and past Beagle Point to the tip of the galaxy there. Then we will do a quick trip from there to this tip of this spiral arm, follow that into the center. I think that passes Colonia on the way, so we'll stop off there. And then out the other side, around the next spiral arm, in from where I am at the moment to the tip of there. And then on the way back from there to the bubble, I'll stop off at these two fleet carriers to get them all in. Right, so the last stream I just found one planet with a plant on it, so let's see now what we're going to find in this stream. So we'll plot the galaxy, the route again. Scroll out a little bit so I can see where we are. So yeah, I was following it along the edge of that line for a while, so I kept going backwards and forwards between the errant marches and the outer arm, and it looks like where we are heading to is just inside the Aquila's Halo, and judging by that place marker there, it looks like I've been there or been near there before. So I am not sure what we found in this system. Let's have a look to see what we found in there, see if it's worth actually going and visiting again. Alright, so there are no planets there. Oh, there are 3 planets there that are landable with atmospheres. And what is that? That is oh, it said I haven't mapped it, so I don't know why this system is there. Maybe I just scanned the system as a whole. Alright, so I have mapped some of them, so that planet's been mapped there, so right, I was possibly going to visit life on those planets. That would be the only reason why I would go to these particular planets. So yeah, there is possibly some, possibly the large pumpkin anemone type life forms on those planets from when I went last time. Anyway, let's set off.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Alright, so in the last stream, because of lack of audio, I put the news on. Let's do that again now, see if it's got anything updated from last time.
Marlinists regroup in Civil War aftermath. The Marlinist colonies are recovering from a period of political infighting and interfaction
Frameshift drive charging.
conflict. Octavia Volkov has been voted in as the new First Minister following a snap election. Her decisive action against Aaron White's neo-Marlinist movement, which led to the elimination
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
the NMLA's political wing drew huge support from voters. In a parliamentary address, First Minister Volkov said, "We must focus on building an independent society rather than changing the empire. In time we will evolve into the fully fledged Marlinist republic we have fought so hard
Fuel scoping.
for, and perhaps inspire our imperial cousins to walk the path to democracy." Marlinist factions now
Fuel scoping complete.
control all 8 of their original colony systems, some of which had
Straight in with an
temporarily
ammonia
fallen
world and a
under
water world.
external governance. They have also expanded into a handful of new systems. Prime Consul Coyote Tau, the chief ambassador of the Marlinists, has established formal channels with the Alliance Office of Diplomatic Relations and the Federal Diplomatic Corps. The Empire recognizes the Marlinist consulate, but maintains a distant relationship with what many consider to be subversive ex-imperials. The ceremonial funeral of First Minister Jenna Fairfax has taken place. Speakers drew attention to her achievements and leadership qualities. In a gesture that many viewed as an olive branch from the Empire, Princess Aisling Duval attended virtually and spoke of her meeting with Fairfax during the Galactic Summit. Mining campaign success for Zemina Torval. Pilots Federation alert. The Torval Mastopoulos mining initiative in the
So the other two planets
LTT-198
are
system
behind the
has
sun.
outperformed Recon Construction's
Let's head
rival
off
campaign.
to the
Pilots delivered
ammonia
mined
world
resources to the
that we just
megaships Pride of
selected.
Bitterwood and Tobias's
After
gift
gone a
to
bit further
support
away,
the
we'll
competing
scan
corporations.
it again.
Ultimately, it was the new subsidiary of Mastopoulos Mining that received the greatest quantities. Senator Zemina Torval provided a statement to Imperial media. "This is an auspicious beginning for my new enterprise. I am pleased to offer rewards to my supporters at the Pride of Bitterwood in the EGM 559 system. In addition to credits, the top 75% of Torval supporters will be provided with an experimental mining laser and permanent permit access to LTT-198. Constantia Torval, one of the senator's daughters, has assumed the role of Director of Operations with Torval Mastopoulos Mining. There has been no comment from the Mastopoulos family regarding the subsidiary, which is being run autonomously by Zemina Torval. CEO Emmerich Koenig confirmed that Recon Construction will soon withdraw from LTT-198. Pilots who supported its efforts can now claim reimbursement from Tobias's gift in the EGM 559 system. The top 10% of Koenig supporters will receive an experimental abrasion blaster as well. LTT-198 State Limited has reinstated permit control for entry to the LTT-198 system. A new starport will shortly be constructed and administered by Torval Mastopoulos Mining. Onion Head's medical benefits verified.
System scan complete.
The Interstellar Health Organization
Right, so
has
I'll stop the news
validated
there. It's
Kuno
now
Cruz's
repeating itself
claim
from
that Onion
what I did
Head
in the last
gamma
stream.
strain.
So we've got a full scan of the system now. Let's see if there's anything closer worth visiting. Right, so yep, we'll go and visit those two planets, the water world and scan the ammonia world before we leave the system. map this planet, see if there's anything on there worth visiting. I did see one of the planets in the system had biological life on it. I'm assuming that is just bacterial. If it's just bacterial, I won't bother going to actually land on the planet.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Yeah, so this has just got bacteria on it. So off to the next planet.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
So nothing on there. So we'll just go and map the water world and the ammonia world for the data, and then we'll head off to the next system.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete. Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Okay, so that's this system. Everything we want to do in this system. Well, head off to the next system.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete.
Nothing in there.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Nothing in there.
Frameshift drive charging.
So I have somebody watching me. Alright, so IB Mike.
Engage.
Hello, Mike. No, I don't really want to become famous, so
Fuel scoping.
so I'm mainly doing this to document the journey.
Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical. Warning, taking heat damage.
It's taking a long time to cool down. Alright, so have we got anything in this system? No.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one, engage. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete.
Bringing
Frameshift
the system.
drive charging.
So 75 jumps to the next fleet carrier, which is the next thing we have targeted. I didn't find anything else of interest from any of the maps between
Frameshift
here and there
drive
to
charging.
make it worth going to visit, so we're just moving straight to there. Just going through random systems to see what we find on the way.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one, engage. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one, engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, Temperature critical.
Oh, there we have another water world. Just noticed they have little numbers next to them after you scan them. I wonder if that's the order they are from the sun.
System scan complete.
Right, so we'll scan the system, let's see what's in there. We have one planet to land on with an atmosphere, so we'll go there and see what's there, and then we'll go and scan the water world. Alright, so that's saying there's no features. I'll go and map it anyway. I'm thinking I'm going to stop going to map planets if they haven't got features on them. Going by the full system scan. Problem is when I do the full system scan, I quite often do it so quickly I don't actually get to see the data from each planet.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
I'm going to scan the water world or map the water world.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Warning, temperature critical. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Let's see what the Codex has to say about this sector of the galaxy.
Warning, temperature critical.
So there's nothing there. Right, so Codex. Galaxy. We're in the outer. Can we get it to? Can we get it to read things out? No, it doesn't know. You can actually get it to read out from the Galaxy section. Okay, let's go to the pilot's handbook. So it doesn't look like I can get it to read out from the pilot's handbook. So the knowledge base, let's go to the knowledge base and see if there's any info being added about Thargoids after the news they had yesterday.
Also known as Helix, has medicinal properties. Dr. Nisha Devi, what? A fractured Federation. Shadow President Felicia Winters has claimed that further systems declaring independence could severely damage the Federation. Her statement was in response to the conflict in the Kawemba system, which resulted in more federal factions seceding from the superpower. Dozens of other...
The Thargoids. Human Thargoid contact. The Thargoids are a non-human race with a history of hostility towards humanity. The first recorded encounter with a Thargoid ship took place in 2849, although earlier undocumented encounters are believed to have taken place. In the years that followed, contact with lone Thargoid vessels was intermittently reported. Humanity clashed with the Thargoids in the 32nd century, but details of the conflict remained scarce for many years, and it proved difficult to differentiate authentic accounts of Thargoid encounters from the sensationalist media stories of the time.
Frameshift drive charging.
The discovery of abandoned intergalactic Naval Reserve arm bases in 3303 did much to dispel the fog, however. The INRA, a joint federal imperial initiative, established
3, 2, 1. Engage.
in 3193, was responsible for researching the Thargoids and developing technologies to counter their aggression. But the organization's lack of accountability meant that the details of its research did not come to light until years after its dissolution. Almost all of the reliable data concerning
Fuel scoping.
the Thargoids
System scan complete.
has been sourced from INRA facilities. This
Fuel scoping complete.
data, originally deemed highly confidential, was declassified in 3304, following a resolution from the federal government
Frameshift drive charging.
and an imperial decree. Some controversy over the backing and funding of the INRA remains, however.
Four, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Okay, not sure what happened to the playlist there.
Fuel scoping.
A fractured Federation. Shadow President
Fuel scoping complete.
Felicia Winters has claimed that further systems declaring...
Let's just go back to the news. I'm not quite sure why the whole playlist didn't play. Let's go back and see if we can add that. Codex. Knowledge base. Or did we actually get the whole lot there? Alright.
Independence could severely damage the Federation. Her statement was in response to the conflict. conspiracy theorist finds network home. Independent journal. Anti-NMM. LTT-198 hosts competing mining campaign. Leaked report exposes rival corporations compete in LTT-198.
I was just giving you the
Torval
news that bit.
Mastopoulos Mining
Okay,
and
let's
Recon
just-
Construction have both established a presence in the
can't remember how
LTT-198
you set up
system.
a playlist.
Marlon Royce, business analyst for Vox Galactica, reviewed the situation. It is highly
There we
unusual
go.
for two megacorps to set up new headquarters in the same place. But Mastopoulos Mining and Recon Construction have always competed aggressively for mining and transportation contracts, so it seems a new chapter in their rivalry has begun. This permit-locked system is controlled by the independent faction LTT-198 State Limited. Insiders claim that it demanded a fortune from both corporations in return for granting passage to its ships and allowing construction of industrial complexes on the planet Dini. This is the first significant move from Senator Zemina Torval's new company, an autonomous offshoot of Mastopoulos Mining. It may be that Recon Construction's presence
Playlist
is
is
an effort to
empty.
crush their old enemy before she can acquire further corporate strength. The Imperial Herald reported that Constantia Torval.
Right, so that's emptied the playlist. Let's go to the codex and build it up again. Right, so
The Thargoids. Society. The INRA discovered that Thargoid society is organized into hives, with most Thargoids falling into three categories: queens, princesses, and drones. Queens function as reproducers, while drones serve to maintain a favorable environment for the rest of the hive. Thargoid hives can be vast, although it may be that some of the larger observed groups are in fact multiple overlapping hives. Ultimately,
Frameshift drive charging.
little is known for sure. The average Thargoid queen is at least as
got
intelligent
someone else
as a
join
human
me.
being, while the typical
Not
drone
sure who that is.
possesses a
Hello,
more rudimentary level
07
of
commanders.
intelligence.
If you got any questions or want to know anything, just put it in chat and
Existing
I'll
evidence
try and
suggests
answer
that
your questions.
queens have extremely long
We
lifespans,
are
living
currently
for hundreds
touring the
or even
galaxy. We're on the
thousands of years.
outer edge
The
of the
variable
galaxy.
size of queens' neurocraniums
Just flying
suggests this
around
might be
randomly, looking for
Little is known about the
life
precise nature
or
of Thargoid reproduction.
plants
but it
to
is
scan.
not
Fuel scoping. Fuel
Queens
scoping
can reproduce
complete.
both sexually with other queens
And we are
asexually.
currently listening
It is
to
thought that the latter
the
method produces drones, while the former
knowledge
produces
base
a
about
queen.
Thargoids after
Analysis of
the
Thargoid
announcement
specimens
about
led some
Thargoids
INRA
yesterday,
researchers
the
to believe
latest
that a
news
new
about
queen,
Thargoids that
or
came out yesterday.
princess, becomes a full queen only once it has produced drones of its own. Significantly, queens are believed to be single-sex. The Thargoids' ability to reproduce asexually means that their populations can expand incredibly quickly, but it is thought that they deliberately restrict the size of the populace so as to not to deplete all available resources. There is evidence to suggest that this is sometimes achieved by culling older
Could be
drones.
a
INRA testing indicated that queens perceive drones as
be a
entirely
Nerf-like.
expendable,
It's
presumably
unlikely, but
due to
let's
the
give it
ease with which they can be
test.
replaced. Indeed, a Thargoid queen appears to give no more thought to the
And
loss
it
of a
is a
drone
Nerf-like world.
than a human
So,
would an eyelash.
that's only the fourth one I found on my, the fifth one I found on my tour this time round. So let's scan the rest of the system. I don't know what's happened to the news about Thargoids there, but that just stopped. I didn't stop it. I'm not quite sure why it did stop. the Earth-like system. Looks like it has one moon.
System scan complete.
Right, so we will definitely go to the Earth-like system and map that. But let's see what else we have in the system worth scanning.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete. Surface scan complete.
Yes, so we're scanning the all the planets in the Earth-like system with an Earth-like planet. Yeah, I like to scan as much as I can whenever I find an Earth-like planet. Particularly when it's in a system that's not been visited before.
Surface scan complete. Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Right, so we're now heading towards the Earth-like world. We'll take a screenshot of it when we get there. It looks like the sun is on the other side of the Earth-like world, along with the galactic core. So might be a bit tricky to get a nice screenshot of the daylight side of the planet and have something interesting in the background. Right then, let's see if we can line up so we can see the day side, or most of the day side of the Earth-like world and the galaxy. Do about there. I'll jump outside to take a screenshot. do nicely, I think. And I'll save that with the name of the planet. So select the planet. Yeah, this new thing of copying the name of the galaxy map, that is one of the bigger improvements since Odyssey came out. Right, now let's map it and then we'll map the moon.
Surface scan complete. Surface scan complete. Surface scan complete. Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Right, so just one more planet and one more moon to scan, and then we'll be moving on to the next system.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Okay, so that's this system done. We'll now head on to the next system.
Frameshift drive charging. System scan complete. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical. Warning, taking heat damage. Frameshift drive charging.
Let's see what happened to that codex feed. Yeah, it seemed to only play the one article. Alright, so let's go and have a play with the list and see if we can get that to work.
Fuel scoping complete.
Yeah, there's nothing in the system, so let's see what's happened with that. Alright, so we were reading things from the knowledge base and we got through the first two, so Let's add the rest to the playlist again. So they were all there already. Society. Right, let's go with that.
The Thargoids. Communication. The belief that Thargoids were capable of some form of extrasensory communication was often cited in the early years of human-Thargoid interaction. But prior to the discovery of INRA records, it was not fully
Frameshift drive charging.
understood. Professor Yuri Anslow of the INRA theorized that a Thargoid queen can communicate with the drones in its hive via a spread-spectrum electronic signal, and can use this signal to control
3, 2, 1, engage.
drones, and even to share their sensory input. Studies of battlefield footage certainly suggest some kind of near-instantaneous communication among Thargoids, and the presence of low-level radio noise in areas occupied by Thargoids indicates that they do indeed communicate via
Fuel scoping.
short-range electronic signals. Professor Anslow went on to claim that a queen could effectively see
Fuel scoping complete.
and hear through its drones, but her contemporaries were skeptical, dismissing the assertion as baseless. Professor Ishmael Palin, one of the galaxy's foremost experts on the Thargoids, has even gone so far as to denounce Anslow as a glory hound.
Frameshift drive charging.
Thargoids have been known to make staccato clicking noises with their mouthparts when in the presence of humans, punctuated with occasional hisses and buzzes. They've
Frameshift drive charging.
also been observed directing such noises at one another, albeit much less frequently. Professor Albert Tesreau, a founding member of the Joint Superpower Initiative, AEGIS, and a specialist in interspecies
3, 2, 1, engage.
communication, has studied INRA audio logs and suggested that the sounds probably represent some kind of language due to the repetition of certain sound combinations. It is unclear why the Thargoids would sometimes choose to communicate with each other vocally, given their capacity for extrasensory communication.
Fuel scoping.
Professor Anslow suggested that the sounds could be designed to intimidate enemies or opponents, noting that Thargoids often
Fuel scoping complete.
reduce them prior to combat. Thargoid ships have been observed emitting a complex array of sounds,
Another water world.
and in some cases subtly changing color. The exact meaning of these behaviors has not been determined, but they appear to correspond to different emotional states. What is not known is if these sounds are produced by the pilot and amplified by the ship, or emitted by the ship itself. If the sounds originate with the pilot, it would suggest some kind of physiological connection between pilot and vessel. Given the sophistication of Thargoid bioengineering, however, it is possible that the sounds come from the ship itself, and that Thargoid ships are able to feel and communicate to a limited degree. The hulls of Thargoid ships are typically emblazoned with one of several symbols, the meaning of which is unknown. Some have theorized that they could denote membership of a particular familial group, or possibly be an indicator of rank. The Thargoids. Physiology. Human understanding of Thargoid physiology is far from complete, but recovered INRA data has offered some insights into their nature. INRA records describe the average Thargoid as physically larger than a human being, and generally insectoid in appearance. Thargoid biology is carbon-based, using an RNA-like encoding for biological information, but Thargoid chemistry is based on ammonia rather than water. Consequently, while Thargoids can comfortably tolerate environments as cold as -80 degrees Celsius, they cannot withstand environments warmer than 45 degrees Celsius for long. According to notes compiled by Dr. Peregrine Hennig, an INRA researcher, Thargoids can survive for a significant time in the vacuum of space without apparent discomfort, and can tolerate radiation and extreme cold for far longer than a human. The Thargoids. Vulnerabilities. In 3151, the INRA developed a biological weapon known as the mycoid virus for use against the Thargoids. The virus was the result of an accidental discovery made by an INRA researcher, who noted that a particular strain of fungus was found to thrive on the hulls of Thargoid vessels, and appeared to be digesting the material of which the ship was made. The INRA refined the fungal strain and began experimenting on living Thargoids in their spacecraft. The mycoid proved to have deleterious effects on both, leading to the swift elimination of the Thargoids active in human-occupied space at the time. It is widely assumed that since the last human-Thargoid conflict, the Thargoids have developed an immunity to the mycoid virus. The Thargoids. Starships. In terms of structure and function, Thargoid vessels are radically different from anything produced by humanity, and are able to navigate hyperspace in ways that are not fully understood. They are also at least partly organic, meaning that they can self-repair or heal over time. Ship function in general, and this restorative ability in particular, have been shown to be dependent upon the so-called Thargoid heart, a biomechanical organ found in varying... The Thargoids. Starships. In terms of structure and function, Thargoid vessels are radically different from anything produced by humanity, and are able to navigate hyperspace in ways that are not fully understood. They are also at least partly organic, meaning that they can self-repair or heal over time. Ship function in general, and this restorative ability in particular, have been shown to be dependent upon the so-called Thargoid heart, a biomechanical organ found in varying quantities in different Thargoid ships. These hearts often survive the destruction of the ship, enabling them to be salvaged, although they can also be targeted and damaged with appropriate weaponry. They are highly corrosive, however, and require special containers for safe transport. Thargoid vessels that have sustained combat damage exhibit scar-like patterns. Given that Thargoid technology is sophisticated enough for such damage to be repaired, it follows that Thargoids might deliberately choose to preserve these scars. INRA logs document an encounter with a Thargoid mothership many times larger than other Thargoid craft, against which the mycoid virus was successfully deployed, although no such vessels have been reported in recent times. The Thargoids. Structures. Dozens of planets in human-occupied space are peppered with Thargoid barnacles, biological resource extractors that convert
Surface scan by 50%.
minerals into meta-alloys.
Surface scan complete.
A key component to the creation of Thargoid vehicles and technology. Theories that these barnacles have been genetically engineered by the Thargoids have yet to be verified. Larger structures, referred to as Thargoid surface sites, have also been discovered. These sites typically consist of a spiral-shaped structure, nestling within a shallow crater, beneath which lies a series of tunnels. At the heart of this subsurface network is a device that, once activated, emits a holographic star map. The sites are patrolled by semi-sentient biomechanical entities called scavengers. The Thargoids. War with the Guardians. Archaeological records have revealed that the extinct, non-human civilization known as the Guardians experienced conflict with the Thargoids many thousands of years ago. Logs recovered from Guardian sites indicate that the Thargoids were the aggressor in this conflict. Having seeded Guardian space with biomechanical constructs used for resource extraction long before the emergence of the Guardian civilization, the Thargoids apparently believed they were entitled to uncontested dominion of the territory. The Guardians attempted to communicate with the Thargoids and reach a compromise, but without success. Over the course of the conflict, the Guardians developed new technologies to give them an advantage against the Thargoids. These technologies were apparently successful, forcing the Thargoids to abandon their offensive. The Thargoids. Agenda. Thargoids do not attack indiscriminately, and their choice of targets shows them to be highly intelligent. They have also conducted targeted strikes on Aegis facilities and attacked pilots carrying Thargoid items in their cargo holds, indicating that they know they are being studied and want to halt the process. But despite their evident intelligence, they appear to be completely uninterested in meaningful communication. The engineer Ramtar, who has extensively researched the Guardians and their war with the Thargoids, holds the view that Thargoid aggression is a product of territorialism. They seed an area with barnacles, thus laying claim to it, and return, sometimes many centuries later, to harvest the extracted resources. Any life form advanced enough to compete with them for the territory is treated as an enemy and summarily attacked. Professor Palin concurs with this view,
Okay, so I scanned
adding
that
that the
planet 'cause
Thargoids
it's
are
a,
apparently so
candidate for
determined to
terraforming.
eliminate any threats to their long-term survival, they will not tolerate any advanced species in close
Worth a lot of money.
proximity.
And now I'm going to scan the Earth-like world.
The
From
Thargoids.
the water
Communication. The belief that Thargoids were capable of some form of extrasensory communication was often cited in the early years of human-Thargoid interaction. But prior to the discovery of INRA records, it was not fully understood. Professor Yuri Anslow of the INRA theorized that a Thargoid queen can communicate with the drones in its hive via a spread-spectrum electronic signal, and can use this signal to control the drones, and even to share their sensory input. Studies of battlefield footage certainly suggest some kind of near-instantaneous communication among
Marlinists regroup in Civil War aftermath. The Marlinist colonies are recovering from a period of political infighting and interfaction conflict. Octavia Volkov has been voted in as the new First Minister following a snap.
So we'll scan both of these and then we'll move on to the next system.
Surface scan complete. Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Right, so there we go. That's this one scanned, and head off into the next system.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Yep, so nothing in that system.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. System scan complete. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. System scan complete. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical. Frameshift drive charging. scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical. System scan complete. Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.